The Knicks extend the series, stay alive in the Eastern Conference Finals with a 111-94 win last night at the Garden over the Indiana Pacers. Knicks took care of business. Brunson, good game. Towns, doesn't look like the knee was an issue. He played very well. Hard off the bench. The Knicks bench is total 26 points. They did what they need to do. The Pacers, they kind of mailed it in. A very workman's-like wire-to-wire win for the Knicks. The Pacers didn't. No desperation. No, there was not a second of that night. Last night, sitting in Madison Square Garden, and I was worried that the Knicks would lose. They jumped out to a quick 10-point lead, and then it was kind of back and forth. Pacers hung with them in the first quarter, and then the Knicks just kind of extended the lead over the next two quarters, and before you know it, you look up at 16, it's 20. Pacers made a couple runs. They made one in the fourth quarter where they got it down to 12. But there was still, at no point was I sitting there worried that the Knicks season was going to end last night. And shame on the Pacers for that. Because there's not many chances you get as an NBA player during your career where if you win that game tonight, you're going to the NBA Finals and you're winning your conference championship. And the Pacers had that last night. And they mailed it in and no-showed. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the Knicks and the way they played. I think they played an excellent game. I think they did what they had to do. Brunson, he got his points. He stayed out of foul trouble. Brunson stayed out of foul trouble. Finally. Towns, the knee looks good. No, there's no issue. Well, I don't know why we were all so worked up about the knee before the game yesterday. Everything I was hearing and reading and watching was, this is going to be big. The Towns might not be able to play. He's questionable. It was fine. I didn't see him at all battling, struggling at all with the knee. He barreled down that lane multiple times. Mitch had a good game. He had a good game, better than the start the other night. The bench was incredible. Shamet, 15 points. Wright had some big minutes. The bench who plays, these guys haven't put in quality minutes in 5 months. They're playing big-time, crucial minutes in these playoffs, and it's fantastic. And they're doing everything right. And Thibodeau, they're gaining Thibodeau's trust. You could see him trusting them more and more and more and giving them more minutes and bigger minutes because of the way they're playing. Hart last night off the bench, fantastic. Double-double from Hart. The Knicks played great. They probably would have won if Indiana decided to show up. But Indiana no-showed that game. They mailed it in. And I'll tell you what, if they somehow, now listen, the Knicks it's still unlikely that the Knicks are going to win this series. It just is. You can say what you want. They didn't figure out the Pacers last night. There's no secret formula where they got it now. Now we know how to beat them. No. The Pacers didn't show up last night. Embarrassing. Their starters have Siakam at 15 points. Okay, decent game. Here's the other four starters. 8 points from Haliburton. 6 points from Nembhard. 5 points from Turner. That's your starting five in the Eastern Conference Finals. 7 shots from Haliburton. 8 shots taken by Nembhard. Turner took 3 shots, and Naismith took 8 shots. What? They're going to be kicking themselves if somehow, some way, the Knicks can find a way to win the next 2 games. And I would imagine Carlisle's going to tear him up. I would imagine he tore into him yesterday after that game because that's an embarrassment to that team and the way that they played. Now, again, as far as the Knicks go, not taking anything away. The crowd was good before the game. It wasn't the edgiest. It wasn't like a unbelievable atmosphere, Madison Square Garden on a late May night with the playoffs. It wasn't that type of crowd because it wasn't that type of game. It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. But hey, that's not the Knicks' fault. Knicks came to play. Knicks won by 17. Knicks are going back to Indiana for Game 6. And listen, it's not going to be this way in Game 6. You're going to get the best the Indiana Pacers have to offer. Probably one of their best games. And you better play your best game, and you better be ready to play Knicks on Saturday night. Because it's going to be a heavyweight, blow-for-blow battle with the Indiana Pacers, and you're going to get everything that they have, and you're going to get their best chance to win a game. And the Knicks are going to have to play their game. Stay out of foul trouble. Hit your shots. Play defense. Fight through screens. Get a little bit of luck. And maybe you get this thing back to the Garden for a Game 7. And that would be something. They're fighting against history, though, starting in Game 6, I think. It's not going to be easy. Like I said, I don't think they'll get blown out like the Celtics did in their the next 40-point win. I don't think it's just going to be a party like it was that night. But I do think the Knicks are going to have to play almost a near-perfect game. Because you're not going to get this again from the Indiana Pacers. That was an embarrassment to everybody on that team. They had no interest in playing that game, it looked like to me last night. No interest. And there's people out there, I see, even on television, the analysts and whatnot, oh, man, the Knicks have the blueprint now. They know what to... No, they don't. No, they don't. I'm not saying they can't win. They know what they have to do to win. They know what they have to do to win. And they did what they had to do to win last night. They could have, if Indiana played their game, the Knicks could have won that game with the game that they played. But to say that we figured it out now, come on, 94 points they gave up. The defense wasn't that good. It was good. Good on the boards. The Knicks were good on the boards last night. Towns with 13 rebounds. Robinson with 6 rebounds in 19 minutes. Hart with 10 rebounds. The Knicks were good on the free throw line again. They stayed out of foul trouble. They turned the ball over. They turned over Indiana. They played well. And you're going to have to do it again 2 more times. Listen, they're only 1 step closer. Indiana still holds most of the cards in this series. They still have a home game. They still have Game 6 and Game 7 in their back pocket. The Knicks have Game 7 at Madison Square Garden in their back pocket, but they got to get there first. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy. And the Knicks better be ready to play. And I think they will be, because they've come out and they played well on the road, right? The Knicks, listen, this has been a weird series on the face, because you got each team just historic collapses in a game, right? You have each team that basically mailed the game in. The Knicks mailed in Game 4. They were disinterested on defense that night. The Knicks mailed that game in, and the Pacers mailed in Game 5. So you have historic collapses and historic mail-ins, no-shows by each team in this series. Now we get to 6 and 7. And you better show up and play your best if you're both of these teams. Because if you don't, you're going to get run out of the building. I think the Knicks are going to play. I think both teams are going to show up, and I think it has the potential to be a classic on Saturday night. And you just go out there, you fight your fight, you play your game, you do everything right, you stay out of foul trouble, you hit some shots. The only thing that was consistent last night with the Knicks was that Mikal Bridges couldn't hit a shot in the first 2 or 3 quarters. It's like he uses the first half as his shoot-around. He finished the game with 12 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. He was 6 for 12 from the field. But he doesn't hit a shot in the first quarter or 2. He gets open looks. Anunoby with not a great game. He was better in the previous games. 11 points, 4 rebounds for OG in 33 minutes, but he wasn't really in the mix last night. He had a nice dunk on a nice pass. Brunson played well. Listen, Brunson, He was the engine. He was the heart of this team last night. We said he was going to have to be the best player on the court. He was the best player on the court. Now let's see him do it 2 more times in a row. Because that's what it's going to take to beat this Pacers team. You're not going to get that performance you got last night. They're going to throw everything at you on Saturday night because I think they probably feel if they have to treat that game on Saturday night like a Game 7. And I guarantee you they will. Rick Carlisle will have that team ready, and they will treat it, desperation, everything like a Game 7. Because if they lose there in Game 6 and they got to come back to the Garden on a 2-game losing streak with the pressure of blowing this lead, being the first team in history to blow a 3-1 lead after winning the first 2 games on the road, that's going to be tough. Going up against the Madison Square Garden and everything like that. The Knicks are 48 minutes away from putting all that pressure back on the Pacers. But it's going to be 48 of the hardest minutes that these guys may ever go through, or one of the hardest 48 minutes that these Knicks players will ever play. And we'll see how it goes. As I said last night, I didn't have a good feeling about the game. I was dead wrong, obviously, as usual. Usually dead wrong, as you know. But listen, series that go like this, it just happen. This is how it happens. The team trailing at home wins game 5, they lose game 6. I would say 60 to 70%. I don't have the numbers, I'm making it up, but I would, from what I've seen in my lifetime, 60 to 70% of the time, that's what happens. So the Knicks are fighting against that too. You could throw that on the pile of things the Knicks are fighting against. The fact that no team has ever dropped the first 2 at home and won the series. The fact that the Knicks have never dropped the first 2 on the road or at home and won the series. The fact that they lost game 7 last year to this team. The fact that usually in series that go like this, the team that wins game 5 at home to extend the series loses game 6. But hey, you're there, right? You just wanted to be there. We're here. We got it to 6. That's the important thing. 1 game at a time. Don't look at the whole task because it's a tall task. And they're only a third of the way there. And they got themselves in this hole. They have nobody to blame but themselves for being in this hole 3-1 because you dropped the first 2 games at home. You had a historic collapse in game 1. You had the lead in overtime. You blew that lead too. So if the Knicks lose this series, obviously they're going to be kicking themselves over game 1. If the Pacers lose this series, they're going to be kicking themselves over last night. A wire-to-wire, 111-94, Knick win. Back we go to Indiana for game 6. And then maybe, back to the Garden for game 7. Knicks win game 5, 111-94. Big night from Brunson, big night from Towns. It looks like the knee is fine. Here we go, folks. 2 more to go. 1 down, 2 to go. Just take it 1 at a time, though. 1 game at a time. Take care of business. This is going to be the toughest one, I think, in Indiana. Get this thing back to the Garden on Tuesday night or Monday night. And it's going to be fun. I think Saturday night could be I think tomorrow night could be a classic. A classic. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Every little bit helps. LockedUpSports.net is the website. LockedUpSports.net. YouTube. Anywhere you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon. You name it, we're there. We're everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We're X. Whatever the hell they're calling it. We're there. Look us up, Locked Up Sports. Just type it in and you'll find it. We'll talk to you tomorrow, everybody, where we come back and we break down Game 6. Knicks Pacers. And 1 more. There's at least 1 more, folks. It's been a lot of fun. Let's keep it going. From the Brian Gunzel Studios, I'm Bob Walters. Thanks for listening, everybody. See ya.